we'll get?
Depends on the conditions we find.
I had a partner, Doug Trumbull. He worked on doing all the special effects on a movie called 2001. So knowing I needed someone who understood special effects, which I didn't have a clue about, he and I became partners. When I told Doug we had the order, he said, well, you know, I can create all the necessary hardware you need to make the movie. I said, terrific.
Get signed authorization from General Landers and we can go.
If you don't mind my saying so, sir, I don't think the General really knows what's going on.
He says, I'll need 2 years. I said, Doug, 2 years, there'll be no order. The picture will be bye-bye. I say, I got to do it now. He says, well, I can't make it now. I need 2 years to invent and create all of the hardware to make it. So now I'm really in trouble. My background is taking writer-producers and selling their TV series and packaging their motion pictures. I left the agency business, so I started putting together my own projects and set up basically 4 pictures at 20th Century Fox. A real good friend of mine, who I also knew was an agent, and now he was a manager. His name was Hal Landers. And Hal Landers, terrific guy, funny, we always had a good time. But he was managing like Anne Margaret, the Mamas and the Papas, etc. And he knew I had a deal at Fox, and he brought me this book called Damnation Alley, written by Roger Zelazny. And he said, I think this would make a hell of a movie. So I brought it into Fox, and they gave me a development deal. We hired a writer named Lucas Heller to adapt the book. So when the script was finished and I turned it into Fox, they really liked it. They budgeted the movie, and they gave me an order to go make it. Now, this was my first movie, and the complications in getting this film made is beyond belief. So I started looking for a director for the project. I met with Robert Wise, and he read the script. He said, Jerry, you can't make this movie. I said, why not? He said, the technology does not exist. Well, I wasn't going to let the order go by, even though Robert Wise and everyone else in town says, you can't make it. I said, well, I'm going to make it. So I put together a team of special effects using everything that existed, working with miniatures and opticals and everything. But here again, I was well over my head. But I'm determined to make this movie, because it's not easy to get a commitment from a studio who finances your project. And then I met a terrific guy, a guy named Jack Smight, who directed the picture. And I knew Jack, as I recall, he did a movie with Paul Newman called Harper. And he read the script, liked it and everything. And so I made a deal with Jack Smight to direct. So now we've got a director, and we've got our cast, and we've got a vehicle, and now we're ready to go.
Well, now, you two going to continue your life of nonconformity? You want to come along with us?
Just so I don't have to re-enlist.
No, Tanner, you don't have to re-enlist. As long as it's clear, I'm in charge.
The vehicle was one of the stars of the movie. So I'm trying to figure out what kind of a vehicle we could have. So I got a book on all the different military vehicles. And the one that fascinated me the most, it was kind of the size of a Jeep. But Each unit had 3 tires. So in effect, it had 12 wheels, and it was designed to rotate like a paddle wheel. Well, now we got to test it to see if it works. We don't know if the wheels are going to turn or anything, because we have recreated what was like a vehicle the size of a Jeep. So we truck it down to Palm Springs. You didn't like have brakes. It was like driving a tank, and you had to basically shift gears to speed and to stop, etc. So he's out there wheeling around in the desert with this vehicle. My God, it looks incredible. I mean, because this is a star part of the movie. So the wheels even started to rotate. Now, you know, like in most cars, you got to break them in. So I figured the more we use it, the better it'll become. So anyway, he does a U-turn, and I hear a grinding as it stops. The whole top part of the vehicle that fit on top of the chassis just kept going. And I watched, and I said, there goes my movie. I don't have a vehicle. So this is when I think the studio realized that I had put together a good project, but I didn't have a clue what the hell I was doing.
Oh, shoot! I hate bugs.
I needed these cockroaches. And what do I know about cockroaches? Anyway, I did some research. I found there was a college in Riverside. I think, if my memory is right, they're Madagascar cockroaches. And they're very large and fascinating. And so I talked to the guy, the professor out there, and told him what I needed. So he came in, we got a wrangler to help me with these cockroaches that eat up, I think, Paul Winfield in the vehicle, I think in Salt Lake. And then I think the earlier sequence, as I mentioned, took place in Las Vegas, where we kind of created the remains of a hotel. Which we had a wonderful, wonderful set director, and he created this Vegas casino. But the cockroaches were the one that had me crazy. The cockroaches. We have this stunt guy, because it was very dangerous to go off a 90-foot dune, but there was a proper way to do it. So you could go up, you disappear, and then you appear at the bottom of this sand dune. So I should have known this guy was trouble, because he's doing wheelies on the back tire of his motorcycle, and he's showing off and this and that. He didn't even check the sand dune. We told him, you go up here, then you hang a left, then you go down, and you'll disappear from the cameras, but it'll look like you went straight off the sand dune. Anyway, instead of taking a left, he takes a right. And he goes into midair on this bike with a young actress sitting on the back. And she was smart enough to bail out just about 6-7 feet before they hit. She got off, jumped off the bike, but he rode it all the way down to the ground. Now, when that motorcycle hit, it hit him in the groin. He fractured his cheek. And don't you know, he showed up the next morning ready for work. I said, you got to be kidding. Do you think I could work with someone like you? You don't prepare. You don't know how the shot is supposed to work. You almost killed yourself. I said, get off the set. So that was just another kind of an incident that you never anticipated, because I never knew what was going to go on.
in the magic of Sound 360. More than a motion picture, an adventure you'll never forget.
We're in post-production, and I asked them a question. I said, let me ask you, we have all these natural events going on, tornadoes and everything. I said, could you travel the sound? He said, what do you mean? I said, well, the sound comes from the front, right where the screen is. I said, could you move the sound back through the theater and where it appears behind me?
Is this a hurricane?
He says, well, yeah, I think so. So one day we're doing our dubbing and everything, and I heard voices behind me. And I thought someone had come into the theater. And I turned around, there was no one there. They had achieved that, and they registered it called Sound 360, Fox did. And I was invited to speak in front of the Academy of, I guess, Sound people and try and explain what it was, which I did. I told them just basically what I told you. I took no credit for it, of course, but I had the idea. And then again, you know, knowing the lack of knowledge I have on special effects also became apparent. But that was another part that was great fun, to take advantage of all the opportunity. How did I feel about it? Well, I felt we did the best we could with the technology that was available. Today, this movie could have a brilliant special effects in 3D that could be tremendous. Tremendous, I think. But, yeah, was I happy? I don't think we realized the potential from the book and the script because of the problems and all. But today, we could do it, and do it well.